Xing calls her mother, who is worried about her getting married. Xing has a steady relationship with her boyfriend, but she's not in a hurry to marry. Right now, saving for an apartment down payment is more important. Today, she learns that it's the first day for the new senior executive from Dongyang Group. Xing hurries to the subway station, only to find it closed. To get to work on time, she decides to use a shared bicycle. At each traffic light, Xing stays alert to avoid delays. Despite her efforts, an annoying guy on the road causes her bike to swerve. A delivery guy, trying to avoid Xing, accidentally scratches a luxury car. Inside the car is Han Ting, the new executive from Dongyang Group. Within 2 minutes, Xing rushes back on her bike, explaining that she was chasing the person who broke traffic rules and caused the accident. She quickly gives her contact information for compensation. Han Ting, sitting in the car, feels his heart race when he sees Xing. She is his middle school crush, and he can't believe he's seeing her here. Han Ting signals the driver to let it go. The car windows are tinted, so Xing doesn't see who is inside. Xing rushes to the company, where her colleague is presenting the work she painstakingly created to the leaders. This isn't the first time he has plagiarized her hard work, but this time, Xing was cautious. She intentionally left out a few words on a professional chart in the presentation. Han Ting immediately notices the issue and asks about the calculation method. The plagiarist is stunned, giving Xing the chance to step forward and explain each detail professionally and thoroughly. The leaders are very pleased. In the evening, Guanghua Group's female executive, Xing asks Xing to accompany her to meet a potential client. Xing asks her close friend for help in dressing up for the event. She attends the banquet and joins the potential client in a card game. Coincidentally, Han Ting is also there. Seeing Xing playing cards, Han Ting is reminded of how they used to play cards together 10 years ago. Back then, Xing's excellent skills always led her to win. Seeing her again fills him with emotion. Xing easily wins 2 rounds, impressing the client. Han Ting doesn't like the way the client is looking at Xing, so he quietly calls Xing's boss to mention it. Xing is then called away by her boss. During the card game, she has already introduced her company's products in a vivid and engaging way. While Han Ting remains calm, he is secretly impressed. Even after 10 years abroad, Han Ting can't forget a small wonton restaurant. He calls his old friend Yi Xiao. Though Yi Xiao seems to be a company manager now, he has actually been working under Han Ting's direction all along, including managing many major projects. Many of the subsidiary companies are actually planned and established by Han Ting, making him the real big boss. Earlier, Yi Xiao noticed right away that Han Ting knows Xing. He infers that Han Ting must really like her. He tries to confirm his guess with Han Ting, but Han Ting immediately denies it. Han Ting looks at the phone number Xing left earlier and adds her on WeChat. Xing, thinking he's the car owner from the morning, immediately apologizes and asks about the compensation. Han Ting secretly laughs, pleased that she doesn't recognize him. He decides to keep up his disguise for now. The next morning, Xing hears her colleagues excitedly announce that Zhao Xingbua, the client they met last night, has signed the contract. The company has successfully secured the deal, and the promised bonus from Xing is within reach. Xing is thrilled. Shortly after, someone delivers a large bouquet of flowers to her. A curious colleague pulls out the card from the bouquet and deliberately reads out the name, Zhao Xingbua. Meanwhile, Han Ting's sudden entry into the family business raises his cousin's vigilance. She fears losing her hard-earned position and starts rallying her trusted followers within the company to sabotage Han Ting. She pressures him into pledging to double Dongyang Medical's stock value within 2 years. After leaving the company, Han Ting visits a place he used to love. Years ago, he and Xing cared for a stray cat there, sharing many fond memories. Yi Xiao finds Han Ting at the spot, concerned after hearing his pledge earlier. With so many tricky issues and aspects to manage, doubling the stock in 2 years is uncertain. Meanwhile, Guanghua Technology is about to hold a celebration banquet. Xing excitedly calls her best friend, who suggests she wear a black cocktail dress for the occasion. At the celebration banquet, Xing shines in a black cocktail dress. Xing, dressed in an expensive suit, walks arm in arm with Han Ting to the stage. Xing notices the deep affection in Xing's eyes toward Han Ting and realizes that her boss has long admired him. On stage, Xing and Han Ting look like a perfect match. Xing publicly thanks Han Ting for his years of care. Xing accidentally overhears a conversation between her department leader and the sales department leader outside the restroom. She learns that the promised promotion and raise were just a lie. The department leader had been plagiarizing Xing's achievements and deceiving her while blocking her path to promotion. Xing feels a deep wave of disappointment. Later, Xing encounters the sales department leader, who pretends to invite her to join his team. When Xing rejects the offer, Zhu Lei takes the opportunity to slap her but deliberately. This inappropriate behavior infuriates Xing, and she immediately accuses him of sexual harassment. Instead of apologizing, Zhu Lei loudly claims in front of everyone that Xing is dressed provocatively and has been flirting with him. Han Ting and Tang Song are about to leave to meet a client when they see Xing. Han Ting quickly asks Tang Song to stay behind. Xing's department leader advises her to consider the impact on the celebration banquet and suggests downplaying the issue. However, Zhu Lei refuses to apologize, leaving Xing no choice but to call the police. The police arrive and review the surveillance footage, but it's unclear, making it difficult to prove Zhu Lei's actions. It seems the issue might be brushed aside. Tang Song suggests checking footage from the event's robot monitor. The sales department leader cannot deny it, and Xing's innocence is proven. That evening, Xing tells her boyfriend about the incident. He is very concerned, and Xing understands his worry. She feels like quitting her job, but is reluctant to do so because of her mortgage. The next day at work, she notices everyone giving her sharp glances. A considerate colleague quietly informs her that the sales department leader was fired the previous night. However, many colleagues now suspect Xing of having a relationship with the newly appointed supervisor, and there are unpleasant comments about her on the company's internal network. That day, the leader assigns her a large amount of work, forcing her to stay late. The department's employees complain and blame Xing for their troubles. Xing endures the pressure, completes most of the work. As the elevator doors slowly open, Xing looks up and sees a familiar face, Han Ting, who has just finished work too. They share the elevator ride, and Xing reflects on the previous night's events and thanks Han Ting again. She realizes that the event's robot didn't have a camera, and it was Han Ting's strategy that led to the sales department leader's confession. It's raining outside, so Han Ting offers Xing a ride home. He asks when she changed her phone number. When Xing mentions that she changed it when she started university, Han Ting finally understands why he never received any replies to his messages. Xing is assigned by her leader to follow up on the software operation at the hospital. She notices many patients becoming impatient due to a malfunction in the hospital's smart medical system. Taking initiative, Xing checks the system and quickly resolves the issue, restoring normal hospital operations. The system is actually managed by Han Ting's company, and he arrives quickly to address the situation. Seeing Xing fix the problem single-handedly, Han Ting is very grateful. Xing smiles and says they are even now. Han Ting invites Xing to ride with him, but she declines, wary of the comments on the internal network. Han Ting understands her concerns and suggests she shouldn't let rumors hold her back. To put pressure on Xing, he calls her to the office and assigns her tasks from both the marketing and sales departments. Xing is dumbfounded, as she is from the R&D department. When Xing questions why she is being assigned tasks from other departments, he stammers and can't explain, only saying that as an elite, she should take on more responsibilities. Xing remembers hearing him in the restroom, discussing how he had been making false promises to make her work harder. Seeing his behavior, Xing becomes angry. Xing hopes to find support when she goes to see Xing, but Xing has developed a strong dislike for her due to the rumors about her and Han Ting. Feeling increasingly pushed out of the company, Xing decides to resign decisively. Seeing Xing's resignation letter, her leader sneers and tells her she has a month's notice period to complete all her tasks. Fed up with his attitude, Xing throws away her work ID and walks out, knowing this means forfeiting her month's salary and bonuses. As she leaves the company, she crosses paths with Han Ting. Although they don't speak, Han Ting understands the situation and asks Tang Song to arrange an interview for Xing. Meanwhile, a junior, aware that Xing is now unemployed, invites her to join his 3D printing project. Xing has previously helped him with a business plan and is familiar with the project, but she is unsure if she can apply her expertise and hesitates. One day, Xing receives an invitation for the new Field Fishing Village Investigation Project, a grassroots survey. While dining with friends, she is unsure about going. Her friends encourage her to take the opportunity to relax. Han Ting, meanwhile, deliberately schedules his trip to the fishing village to spend more time with Xing. On the first day in the village, Han Ting runs into Xing. He suggests she consider another development company that offers comparable salary and benefits. The fishing village, being quite remote, has many villagers who delay treatment due to the inconvenience of visiting big hospitals. Han Ting investigates the situation and places the company's smart dentist Xiao Bai in the village's health clinic, which receives a lot of praise. Xing, the developer of the smart software, is delighted to see her work making a difference. One of the patients is a woman who lost a leg in a car accident and cannot afford a suitable prosthetic limb, making walking very painful. The next day, after learning more about the woman's tragic story, Xing is deeply moved. Xing recalls her junior's invitation to the 3D printing project and considers how meaningful it would be to create an affordable and suitable prosthetic limb for the patient. That evening, unable to sleep, she walks alone to the seaside, thinking about work. Han Ting also arrives at the seaside,